So I have really nothing good to say about Diamond Sports yesterday. As a Husker fan, it was just incredibly disappointing and embarrassing the way we lost to Rutgers in both softball and baseball. Not saying, it's the end of things, but it's like, how? Did we lose confidence? I get traveling is tough. Traveling Piscataway is tough. But, you know, this is one, in both softball and baseball, one of the worst teams in the conference. This team should be swept by both bat sports. And not to mention, uh, you know, this third time we had to go visit Rutgers since they joined the conference, and they only had to come to Lincoln once. I'm not here to bitch about, but it's just incredibly frustrating, infuriating that we can't seem to do anything against Rutgers. It's just disappointing. It's game one. We still have two games to go in both softball and baseball, so I'm not gonna completely bitch and moan and whine about it, but it was really just frustrating. Game one's really important to set the tone for a series. And man, you go to extra innings in baseball and I just knew when we went to extra innings, I just knew we were going to get a loss. I just knew it. I knew we were going to find a way to fuck it up. And we did. And it's just incredibly frustrating. Like I said, game one, I can't, unleash anger right now, right out of the bat. But you're on top of the conference. You need to act like it. It just we lost 3 games in a row now to a shitty KU team, to a shitty Rutgers team. That Ohio State lost game 3. We got the series won. Not a huge deal, but two shitty teams. All right, KU sucks. Rutgers sucks. We lost to them both. I'm here to talk about it. The only good thing that came out Friday was both men and women's tennis. They both got wins. Uh, I will talk about them last since I want to end the show on a good note. All right, so let's talk about baseball real quick against Rutgers. We surrendered 5 unanswered runs in the final 4 innings to fall 7-6 in 11 innings. Uh, let's see, we're now 22-9 overall, 5-2 in the Big Ten. We scored 6 runs on 10 hits, while Rutgers totaled 7 runs on 15 hits and an error. Josh Karen stretched his hit streak to 13 games, going 2 for 5 with a pair of RBIs. Caden Broomball was 2 for 3 with a double, while Gabe Swanson tallied 2 hits. Will Walsh had a 3-run home run, and Dylan Carey added a double. So it's not like we didn't do anything good. We did good things. Most of it was pitching. We pull out Brett Sears after he went the first 5 innings throwing smoke. Then rain came down, and so understandably so, he's gonna struggle. And when he did, we pulled him out, and then we went through like 15 pitchers, and that's what cost us the game. It wasn't really our batting performance. We did great. We did great fielding wise too. But when a pitcher makes one freaking mistake, we decide to pull him out. And that is incredibly frustrating for me because it's in the rain. What I think these coaches need to go out when it's raining and try to throw a baseball perfectly. It, it, I don't get it. I mean, Rutgers is pitcher, when he had to toss in the rain, he was making mistakes. Brett Sears made a mistake, and he gets pulled out. I don't get it. You know, He went 19 innings without a hit, without a run scored. Then the rain came down, and yes, a run scored, but it's like it's rain. He doesn't practice throwing in the rain a lot, and believe me, there's a big difference when it's raining, and you're gonna have to adapt to that. And yes, you're gonna make a mistake, and he did, but it's not like he was throwing a bad game. He was adjusting, but before he could adjust, he gets pulled out. And that's what probably frustrated me the most in this loss against Rutgers, because we had a chance to set the if we would have kept Brett Sears in for at least a couple more innings, I think we would have won this game. I really do. So it was just incredibly frustrating. Brett Sears turned his 8-pitch consecutive quality start after allowing 2 runs on 6 hits across 6 innings of work. And yes, that was due to the rain. Jalen Worthley allowed 1 run on 2 hits in 1 inning, while Evan Borst tossed a scoreless inning in relief. So we went all the way to Evan Borst. Kyle Perry surrendered 3 runs on a pair of hits while recording 1 out. Casey Dice fired 1.2 scoreless innings, working around a pair of hits and a walk to the Scarlet Knights. Ron Sanders dropped to 0-1 on the season after allowing a run on 2 hits in 0.2 innings. The Huskers and Scarlet Knights played through 5 scoreless frames in a showdown between 2 of the top starting pitchers in the Big Ten. The offense broke through in the 6th inning, plating 3 runs on 2 hits and to go ahead 3-0. Brumbaugh reached on a 1-out double, while Josh Overbeek drew a 4-pitch to put runners on first and second. A wild pitch moved the pair ahead at 1 base before Cole Evans' Big Ten leading 5th sac fly of the season scored Brumbaugh to break the scoreless tie. Then Case Sanderson was plunked and moved to second on a pass ball, while Karen drilled a 2 RBI single up the middle to give the Big Red a 3-0 lead. Rutgers responded immediately with a pair of runs on 3 hits in the bottom of the 6th to climb within 1. The Scarlet Knights had runners on second and third after a single and a double, while Ty Doucette's 2 RBI single to left made it a 1-run game through 6 innings. Nebraska threatened in the 7th with runners on second and third with 2 outs, but couldn't get the timely 2-out hit to add on the 3-2 lead. The Huskers extended their lead 6-2 in the top of the 8th behind Walsh's 3-run homer into the berm in left field. Karen reached on a 2-out single, followed by a 4-pitch walk to Swanson to put runners on first and second. Walsh cleared the bases and touched them all with his 5th homer of the season. All right. The Scarlet Knights had a leadoff single and a 2-out walk before Pete Durcher dropped an RBI single to right center to bring Rutgers within 6-3 after 8 innings. Consecutive 1-out singles and a full count walk loaded the bases with Rutgers in the bottom of the 9th. Josh Kuroda made, however you pronounce his name, made it a 1-run game with a 2 RBI single down right center. Then we intentionally walked Duricher. Another stupid move on our part. I don't think we recorded any errors in this game, but these were internal errors on our part. But we intentionally walked them, and then it loaded the bases. Why would you intentionally load the bases? I don't get it. Go for a double play or something. While Tony Santos Maria's RBI single to right locked the game at 6 in the bottom of the 9th, Dice retired next to Scarlet Knights via a flyout and ground out to send the game into extra innings, tied at 6. Carey led off the 11th inning with a first pitch double down the left field line to put the go-ahead run at second for the Huskers with no outs. A failed sack bunt attempt followed by a pop out and strikeout prevent Nebraska from plating the go ahead run. That was another costly mistake. Yeah. An infield single and a walk had 2 runners on with no outs for Rutgers in the bottom of the 11th. A 3-pitch strikeout followed by a ground out to third place runners on second and third with 2 outs, setting up Johnny Volp's walk-off RBI single up the middle to give Rutgers the damn 7-6 win in the series opener on Friday night. Just incredibly frustrating, you know. We can set the mood right now by winning the next 2 damn games. I know that. It was just embarrassing. I hate losing to shitty teams because there's no need for it. There's no need for it. All right, moving on. Softball. Sorry, I try not to sound negative, guys, but it's just incredibly infuriating how we lost. All right, so softball loses to freaking Rutgers. I hate going on these shows talking about losses. I do, especially as shit teams. Rutgers scored the game's final 7 runs en route to a 9-3 victory over the Nebraska softball team. Scarlet Knights, who lead the Big Ten in runs scored, put up multiple runs in 4 of their 6 turns at bat. Rutgers hit 3 home runs and had 5 extra base hits, while also stealing 4 bases. It was Nebraska who hit a home run in each of the first 2 innings to lead 3-2 early. But the Huskers were shut out the rest of the way in a game of missed opportunities offensively. By the way, I did not get to watch this game. I was at work at the time. Thankfully so. Nebraska out-hit Rutgers 9-8, but stranded 8 runners. The Huskers were 0 for 2 with the bases loaded, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and 2 for 12 with runners on base. Nebraska had its leadoff runner on base in 5 of its 7 innings, but only scored in 2 of those 5 frames. Caitlin Kaneda went 2 for 3 with a double, a homer, and 2 RBIs, while Billy Andrews also homered. Peyton Cody was 2 for 3 with a sack, and Samantha Bland was 1 for 2 with a double and 2 walks. Sarah Harness took the loss for the Big Red, allowing 6 runs, 5 earned in 5 innings. Emerson Cope tossed 1 inning of relief and allowed 3 runs. Then Maddie Boyd tossed a complete game for Rutgers, who improved to 26-16 on the year and 8-4 in conference play. Boyd shattered 9 hits and 4 walks to allow only 3 runs while striking out 5. Nebraska jumped out to a 1-0 lead when Billy Andrews led off the game with a home run. The Huskers had a chance for more with runners on second and third with 2 outs, but Nebraska could not push another run across. In the bottom of the first, a leadoff single and a 2-run homer from Big Ten home run leader Morgan Smith gave Rutgers a 2-1 lead. The Huskers answered back in the top of the second. Caitlin Neal drew a leadoff walk and scored 2 batters later on a 2-run homer from Kaneda. Nebraska nearly scored for a 3rd straight inning in the top of the 3rd. Sydney Gray singled with 1 out before Bland doubled, but on the double, Gray was thrown out at home attempting to score. In the bottom of the 3rd, I lost my spot. In the bottom of the 3rd, Rutgers took advantage of the Husker defense to score twice and take a 4-3 lead. A dropped line drive allowed the tying run to score before an errant throw on a double steal scored the go-ahead run. The Scarlet Knights scored twice in the inning despite recording only 1 hit and 1 walk. The error and 4 stolen bases fueled the inning. Then we're in the top of the 5th. Brooke Andrews led off with a single and moved to second on a sac bunt from Cody. Gray and Bland then walked to load the bases with 1 out, but Nebraska was unable to score as a pop-out and a flyout ended the inning. After the Huskers left the bases loaded, Rutgers hit 2 home runs in the bottom of the frame to stretch its lead to 6-3. Scarlet Knights added 3 more runs in the bottom of the 6th on a double, an RBI single, and 2-run triple. In the top of the 7th, Cody led off with a single, but was only trying to stretch the hit into a double. The next two Huskers were then retired to end the game. Nebraska got its leadoff runner on base for the fourth time in the top of the sixth when Bella Bacon singled. Nebraska and Rutgers play game 2 later on today at 2 p.m. Central. Post-game notes from this one. Huskers allowed a season-high tying 3 home runs in the loss. Nebraska lost its third straight game at the Rutgers softball complex. Nebraska went 0 for 2 with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 5th inning. The Huskers are just 11 for 60 with the bases loaded this season. How shitty is that? How sad. Billie Andrews led off the game with a home run. The homer was her 15th of the season, as she became the first Husker to have 3 seasons with 15 or more home runs. The homer was the 58th of Andrews' career as she moved into a tie for 6th place in Big Ten history. Caitlin Kaneda hit her first home run of the season in the 2nd inning. Kaneda also doubled in the game, marking the first time of her career with multiple extra base hits. Kaylin Kinney did not pitch in the game, giving her streak of appearing in the circle in 11 consecutive games. So there's the Diamond Sports for Friday recapped. All right, let's move on to track and field. Starting with Thursday, not a whole lot went on at the Brian Clay Invitational. Nebraska Track and Field opened its Brian Clay Invitational with 3 runners competing in the steeplechase. In the women's 3,000 meters steeplechase, Taya Skelton clocked in a 10:41.93 to finish 26th, and Cami Miracle crossed the line at 10:44.46 to finish 33rd. Sadio Finner placed 40th in the men's 3,000 meters steeplechase with a time of 9:07.34. All right, so moving on to Friday now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Allie Bainbridge made her all-time list debut. Bainbridge competed in the Open A 5,000 meter in Azusa, California, finishing 5th in her heat with a personal best of 16:29.39. That moves the freshman from Sioux Falls, South Dakota up to 8th in the all-time list. Husker all-time list, sorry. Okay, Nico Schultz represented Nebraska in the men's 800 meter invitational, finishing 20th with a time of 1:48.29. Berlin Schultz ran in a competitive women's 800 meter invite, crossing the line at 2:08.41 to finish 74th. In the men's open 800 meter, Holden Roos clocked a 1:53.33 to place 89th. In the women's open 800 meter, Lindsey Blim finished 86th with a 2:13.03, and Haley Trotter finished 138th with a 2:15.44. Sam Kirchner ran in the open B section of the 5,000 meters, clocking a 14:18.28 to finish 31st. Grant Wasserman and Cody Erdkamp ran in the 3,000 meter steeplechase at the Laverne Distance Carnival. Wasserman clocked a 9:22.76 to finish 23rd, and Erdkamp ran a 9:37.09 to place 37th. Running events resumed this morning at 9:30 for the final day at Cougar Athletics Stadium. All right. So before I move on to men and women's tennis and their respective wins, thank God, I'm going to preview men's golf real quick as they're taking on their final outing of this regular season outing for the season. So they will be in its second tournament hosted by Iowa this week, and the Huskers head to the Hawkeye Invitational in Iowa City. Action in the 2-day event begins on Saturday with an 8:15 a.m. Shotgun start for the first and second rounds. At Finkbine Golf Course, the 16 teams in the tournament field will face a 7,197-yard par 71 layout on Saturday before closing the tournament with a third round shotgun start at 8:15 a.m. tomorrow. All right. Nebraska, which is coming off an 8th place finish in a loaded field at Iowa's Calusa Cup in Naples, Florida, will face a more balanced field in Iowa City, and the 8th place was actually last place in that damn thing. Yeah, great job. All right, the Hawkeye Invitational Field features 4 top 100 teams led by number 65 KU, along with number 73 Illinois State, number 91 Wisconsin, number 95 TCU ahead of the hosts from number 104 Iowa, number 107 Central Arkansas, number 119 Nebraska. What do you know? We're down there. All right, number 124 Northern Illinois round out the 8 schools ranked among the top 125 in the scoreboard NCAA 1 men's golf rankings. All right. Creighton, Drake, Kansas City, Missouri State, Murray State, South Dakota State, Southern Illinois, and Wichita State complete a tournament field with a heavy Midwestern flavor. Juniors Hamish, Murray, and Harry Crockett continue to lead the Huskers on the course. Murray owns 5 top 20 finishes this year, including a season best tie for 9th at the Bearcat Invite. The first-year Husker from Australia owns a team best 72.09 stroke average. Then Crockett, who is in his second season at Nebraska, has added a 72.77 stroke average as the only Husker to play in all 26 team rounds. The junior from Oxted, England, has been Nebraska's top finisher at 3 tournaments and has been one of the top 3 Huskers in 6 straight events. 5th-year golfer Will Marshall, who led the Huskers with a 29th place finish at the Calusa Cup, will play out of the top spot of the Husker lineup at Iowa. Then you have sophomores Davis Johnson and Quinn Yost, who took the top 2 spots at the Stampede at the Creek earlier this week, will occupy the number 4 and 5 spots in the lineup in Iowa City. Senior Gentry Sheave will also travel to the Hawkeye Invite as an individual. I don't know why people go in unattached, probably because you're too embarrassed to play for Nebraska. All right. I'm sorry, guys. Let's end this thing with a positive note. All right, let's talk about women's tennis real quick. They got a win against Penn State. Behind winning the doubles point in 3 straight singles matches, the Nebraska women's tennis team, who is now 11-8 and 2-6 in the Big Ten, defeated Penn State, who is now 5-13 and 4-4 in the Big Ten. Defeated them 4-0 on Friday afternoon. Action started with doubles play, and the Huskers came out firing as number 75 Rafaela Cassie and Maja Petrovic defeated Cheklastova and Zuvova. I hope I said that right. 6-2 on court 1. Anna Zamburik and Anfisa Danilchenko defeated Carly Friedland and Olivia Donner 6-3 at the number 2 spot to earn the doubles point. Lucy Loy and Isabel Androver Gallegos match on court 3 was left unfinished, and the team started singles. And by the way, do y'all notice that baseball and tennis, all can't get a win on the same day? You can't just get a sweep of all the sports. It's either one or the other. All right. In singles, Androver Gallego took a quick 6-0, 6-1 victory over Zuvova on court 3 with a 2-0 lead. Danilchenko secured another straight set victory on court 2, 6-1, 6-0 on court 4. Then Petrovic clinched the 4th point in the win for Nebraska, 6-4, 6-0. Lacassie, Zamburik, and Roa's matches were left unfinished. So up next, the Huskers will be back in action tomorrow at 11 a.m. as they host number 16 Ohio State for Senior Day. What a Senior Day. Guess that's going to be a tough team to beat. All right, moving on to men's tennis as they went to Indiana. The number 62 Nebraska men's tennis team claimed its 14th win of the season. Excuse me, guys. Okay, a program best since 2016 with Nebraska's 5-2 victory over number 69. Nice. Indiana on Friday afternoon. The Huskers, who are now 14-8, 3-3 in the Big Ten, dropped the doubles point but took 5 singles victories to take down the Hoosiers. Nebraska will face Purdue on Sunday, which is tomorrow, seeking out one more regular season road win. The Big Ten matchup began with doubles play at the IU Tennis Center. Number 3 doubles had a quick match as Leo Lindquist and Shunya Mariyama fell to Facundo Yunus and Luke Boyer 3-6 on court 2. Calvin Mueller and Lars Johan faced Sam Lindau and Carson Haskins, but dropped the match 2-6. Recently ranked the Huskers doubles duo number 81 Anton Shep and Nick Weinhorn took on Ilya Terapolsky and Jager Saylor on court 1. The number 1 doubles match was left unfinished at 5-5, but the doubles point clinched for the Hoosiers. Despite dropping the doubles point, the Big Red were off to a strong start for singles. Mariyama dominated on court 3, defeating Michael Andre 6-1, 6-2 to even the score. Johan was next to finish, taking down Saylor 6-4, 6-3 in the number 4 slot. The Hoosiers tied it up with a victory from Eunice and over Shep on court 2, 7-5, 6-2. Mueller rallied in a close second set to defeat ranked number 74 Sim Lindau 6-4, 7-6 on court 1. Then Haitaranta clinched a match for the Huskers on court 6, taking down Deacon Thomas 6-2, 2-6, 6-4. Lindquist rallied from a drop first set to round it out for Nebraska, defeating Terapolsky 4-6, 7-5, and then 6-2, and marking the final score 5-2 Nebraska. All right. With the win, the Huskers improved to 14-8 and 3-3 in the Big Ten, the most wins for the program since 2016, when the Big Red finished 14-13. And then 4-7 in the Big Ten. The victory was also a third straight win for the Huskers over the Hoosiers. Mueller had another strong singles match, playing the number 1 singles slot to claim his third ranked win and 24th singles victory this season. And as I mentioned, up next tomorrow, men's team plays Purdue, who's supposed to be a pretty decent opponent, so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, that is that. All right, so lineup for Saturday today. You got track and field at the Brian Clay Invitational, day 3 of that, final day of that. Women's golf starting out at the Lady Buckeye Invitational, game 2 for both men and women's. Diamond Sports against Rutgers. Soccer takes on KU, the Blue Chickens, in a spring exhibition. Hopefully we beat them just for the sake it's KU. And then men's golf at the Hawkeye Invitational tees off today as well. And basically same things for tomorrow, except for the track and field that'll be done today. So gotta find ways to win. That's all I can say. Hopefully Diamond Sports get their shit figured out. Hopefully soccer gets an exhibition friendly win. They really seem lost without Eleanor Dale, which is troublesome and worrisome for me. Yeah, so hopefully we get some wins today. That's all I can say. I'm tired of losing. I hate losing. I want to go to the postseason, and I want to win. I want to win big. That's all Husker fans want. We haven't seen a national title in like 3 years in anything. Probably not going to happen this year for anything, and that really sucks. So, But what can I say? Anyways, guys, hopefully tomorrow's episode is more positive and upbringing than this one. I just woke up in a bad mood, ready to fight, with that loss. Uh, Good news is it's supposed to be a good day, nice day outside, and I'm definitely going to get some fresh air because I need it. Uh, so until then, guys, be excellent to each other. Go Big Red.